I'm Dr. Suzanne Carroll Duffy, psychologist and creator of Wonder Rooms and the Moving Stories method. Moving stories are a special kind of therapeutic and educational story that are housed in story kits. This is an example of Swimming Eagle. Here are the pieces of the story that came from the kit. And the story is told in a sand tray, or it might be told on an overlay such as a scarf. There are many moving stories and they're housed on low shelves for kids to reach. The Moving Stories e-library is available to tell the stories that go with each of the kits. Lauren Simpson will be telling the story Claude Flies an Airplane. She wrote this story for a child who is having challenges with out-of-control anger.
Hi, I wonder what story we're going to get to hear today. Let's see. How about this one? What could it be? This is a story about a young bunny named Claude. And Claude lived at the edge of the woods in a special bunny home. He lived with his mother, and guess what? 10 bunny sisters. That's right. Claude was the only boy bunny in a whole family of girl bunnies. Now, Claude liked to cause mischief, and his mother and all of his sisters often scolded him. He didn't like that very much, and it made him feel really mad. In fact, he felt mad most of the time. He felt like he could never do anything right. Well, one day, Claude was so mad that he stormed out of the bunny house, and he stormed around the neighborhood, madder than ever. "I'll show them," he said. And he stormed away, far away from his home, until he came to the edge of a field where he loved to play. Now today, there was something very different in this field. There, at the end of the field, was a big blue jet airplane. Claude had never seen an airplane before. He had heard about them on TV. And he got a great idea. "They can't tell me what to do," he said. "I'm going to show them who's boss. I'm going to fly this airplane." And he went over to the plane and he hopped up on top of the airplane, still feeling very, very mad. He started up the engine. Vroom! It made a very loud noise. Vroom! The noise was so loud that his mother and all of his bunny sisters came running from the bunny house to see what was making such a loud noise. "Mother, look!" cried the oldest bunny sister. "Claude is trying to fly that airplane." And he sure was. The plane was rolling down the field. "Oh no!" cried Mother Bunny. "My baby boy!" She knew that one day Claude's temper just might get him into trouble, and now he was trying to fly an airplane. Vroom went the engine, and this time he rolled the plane down to the end of the field, and it lifted off into the air. and it bounced along. It wasn't a very smooth takeoff. It even rolled a few times, and the bunny family went, "Oh!" and "Oh!" as they watched their brother soaring higher and higher into the sky. The engine making more noise, but then getting softer as soon Claude was far away from the field and the bunny house and his whole family. He was way up in the sky, and he was still very mad. But now it was quiet. There was nothing in the sky except a few clouds and blue, blue, blue as far as he could see. Well, thought Claude, it sure is quiet up here. It's not quite as much fun anymore. And then he realized he really didn't know how to fly an airplane, and he wasn't sure that he knew how to get down. He began to feel a little bit lonely and a little bit scared that maybe he would never see his family again, or the big field to play in, or his bunny home. He wondered what he should do. He decided maybe he would try to call for help. And he started with a very quiet call because he was still a little mad that he even needed to call for help. Help! 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 But there was no answer. So he tried again, a little louder this time. Help! 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 And still no one came. So finally he called really loud, "Help! Help! Help!" For a minute, it seemed like he really was going to be stuck in the sky forever. But then all of a sudden, out of the clouds popped a goose. And another one. "Well, what seems to be the problem here?" said the first goose. "Who are you?" said Claude. "My name is Gary Goose, and this is Glenda Goose. We heard someone call for help." "Oh, great," said Claude. "I call for help, and this is what I get? I don't see how you can help me." "Well, we do know something about flying," said Gary Goose. Claude was quiet for a minute. "Well, all right," he said. "If you're so smart, then help me get this plane on the ground." "Well," said Gary Goose, "I'm not so sure we can do that. You see, we have to fly ourselves to the ground with our wings." "Just as I figured," said Claude. "I knew you couldn't help me." Glenda Goose piped up and she said, "You know, I wonder if maybe the problem here, Claude, is that you need to decide if you really want to stop flying this plane." Claude was very quiet for a minute. And then finally he said, "Okay, yes, I do want to stop flying this plane. Stop, S-T-O-P, stop." And an amazing thing happened when he said that. The engines on the plane started to get just a little bit quieter. "You know," said Gary Goose, "there's something else that we could teach you." "Yes," said Glenda. "You know, Claude, when we fly ourselves to the ground, we have to do it very slowly and we have to breathe a lot." "Do you know how to breathe?" said Gary Goose. "Oh, everybody is always asking me if I know how to breathe," said Claude. "Of course I know how to breathe. I'm a bunny. I breathe all the time." "Yes," said Glenda, "but we're talking about a special kind of breathing." "That's what my mother's always trying to tell me. This is just like one of her dumb ideas." "Well," said Glenda, "this is special breathing, and for you, these are going to be big bunny belly breaths." "Yes," said Gary Goose, "like this. Watch."